All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Kaguya-sama, Love is War, Season 3, Episode 12. Holy shit, this is happening.
This is the finale. It's apparently a big double feature episode, so we're going to do both of them at the same time.
Both at the same time.
Yep. So you want
That's
to
gonna
wait
be
for
something.
that, which means we're having a new show following this episode's reaction, which some of you already know what that is because it was an ordered poll a long time ago.
Indeed.
But yeah, we're really excited. Really excited.
Me too.
We're getting definitely something because
so
Miyuki has told her
he has told her that
he's going to Stanford.
He's going to Stanford. He's going to America. He is skipping the last year of high school. He's just going out to the back of the shed early so that he can get just double tapped because no life past high school except wait. This show is extra. This show goes the extra mile, and so even though the previous episode ended with the bad news and everything.
Right.
I have 100% absolute certainty that this is going to go fantastically. This is just the scare. Miyuki is being very considerate, and he's getting this out of the way so that they can talk about that and he can see how she feels about that. Yeah. And then afterward he can be like, by the way, I love you.
What was our bet about?
It was a 2-to-1 odds, so me only getting half the payout basically.
Right.
And that there would be a confession. But we didn't actually figure out stakes.
No, we did. We gave like Chipotle as an example, basically it
I think that was what we had as the default in case we didn't come up with something.
That was, I think that's what it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But here we are, and 2-to-1 odds. It's a steal.
It wasn't it like. I'm pretty sure it was like if a confession actually happened.
So it's if a confession actually happens and there's no back miscommunication or whatever, like it's understood to be a confession.
Right.
And there is a response given to the confession.
Yes, there has to be a response given.
Right.
It doesn't matter what the response is.
Right.
But there has to be a response. If they do I have to think about this. Wait till the next season. Yeah, then I win.
Sure. If it's a wait till the next. If it's not
season, a response.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And I need time is that definitely counts. Although I do think it's kind of funny that
I'm getting nervous
when I'm there's totally going to be a response.
Finale.
No, but that gives me even better odds.
Right, I know, because now I'm like, shit, wait, if it's a 2-part finale, why would they do that?
You're all like, wait, but there's not that much time, and then all of a sudden, oh, wait, there's more. We'll double the offer,
Well, I think it was just a thing where I thought there was just a 13th episode,
Oh, sure, yeah.
And no, it's a big episode 12, and I'm like, oh no, and they only do that kind of shit when big things happen.
And the crazy thing is that it's not even that it's just going to be happiness for them two, even though there's the bittersweet aspects of he's leaving to go to the U.S.
For sure.
Even Ishigami,
we'll see. Yeah,
Tsubume was like, I don't think you'll need to comfort him after all. So it's like, wait, hold on, is she actually gonna it's a confession? What?
I want there to be positive aspects there. I think that one could be one that gets backpedaled a little bit.
I could see that,
but I could also see it being one where it's we'll wait to see what the results are of that with regards to the bonfire.
And yet at the same time, I feel like this entire finale is just like the big Christmas miracle, where everything works out. It's like the Kaguya rejected the premise of the story, right? So now it's we are rejecting everything. Rejecting humanity, return to rom-com, like all of that stuff. It's happening.
Okay, it's happening. Then y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion.
My heart is hammering in my chest so hard right now.
I feel that. We got probably one of the most Kaguya episode finales.
Oh yeah,
ever. By giving us, in some ways, everything we want, while also holding back that sweet, juicy bit behind the scenes to keep us in suspense for the. But wait, why did we just cut to that?
So
are they are going to Stanford. They've understood that those were confessions back there. They just were both too flustered to actually.
They didn't use the words I love you, please go out with me, right?
Right.
And that's I like that they did that. It feels like they're taking back the god awful trope that they straight up called out in this episode with Hayasuka being like
best girl.
Be like more detail. Like what are we talking about?
What do you love? Who, what, when, where, why,
how? Exactly. Right. All of that stuff. Because there is something to be said for when you know another person so well, and when your feelings are such that they can't be communicated with words, right? So you have to do something that is not verbal to truly show and communicate in that gesture of what you're feeling on the inside, right? A lot of the times, stories, romantic shows will go into that, and then they'll use that as the way to cuck the audience and be like, well, it gets misinterpreted or something like that, right?
Right.
And I don't like that. That's like that's worse than baiting a confession, right?
It's lazy. It's
because you're taking the very thing that they were supposed to be excited about and then tainting it, right?
Yep.
That is not what this show did. Now, this show is definitely the type of show where with the characters that we have,
they would do that.
Not just they would do that, but they would potentially be the ones to say this doesn't count because I didn't win.
Yeah.
I didn't beat the other person, right? Because the thing is, they knew that they loved each other long before this episode, right?
Well, that's the difference. They know that they love the other person,
right? And they
don't know.
Yeah, they don't know. They think they think they have a shot, right? Like they're like, okay, but it's that whole uncertainty thing because you don't actually know, right?
Right.
And so in this situation, they were essentially both able to in a very cheeky way, give up and hold on to their previous game, right? Where, no, they're not going to confess in the strictest of sense.
Right.
But they're going to make it clear in no uncertain terms, like truly in no uncertain terms, no backtracking or anything like that, that they definitely do love the other person, right?
Yeah.
And I love that so much because
they won't do it by confessing with the typical ski.
Right, exactly.
And it's like, hold on, we can do better than that.
But they're straight up like, they seem to be dating right now. Like they got that hand holding behind
this is almost the flaw of our bet is that we didn't account really for the weird ways in which Kaguya would buck the entire tradition to the point where we didn't even get a prototypical confession because neither of them technically responded to the other person. They, in some ways, both decided to give up their pride and confess.
Right. Even if the other person hadn't.
Even if the other person hadn't, which is in some ways the perfect way to have them deny, like Kaguya was doing earlier, the entire premise of the story. Instead of making the other person confess, it's then I'll just confess.
And yet they can maybe keep that up for that little bit of fun banter between the two of them, right?
Right.
Of like
I'm going to make you then say I love you, not confess.
Right,
because
exactly.
We already know
how we feel about each other.
But I want to see if I can make you say it. I'm going to show you how much I love you so much that I'm going to make you say the words.
Right. And also
that's so funny.
That's so wonderful. And as far as a confirmation that like, hey, because it even was like winking at us, having it cut after the kiss to then Miyuki being like, ah! And it's like, wait, what happened after? We need to see that. We need to know.
And we still don't know.
We know a little bit. We know that Kaguya brought some tongue into the game. And of course, because it's Kaguya,
she doesn't know what she was doing at all.
She doesn't know what she's doing.
It was a horrible kiss. Like, it was a horrible kiss.
Just like Kaguya that was a horrible cosplay, right? Okay, you could say that the cosplay
I would say it's a
horrible...
I would say the cosplay is hilariously basic. It's not...
No, the cosplay itself isn't bad.
He put a cape and a hat on and called it a cosplay.
It's a horrible idea to do cosplay for a confession. Now, because she loves you so much, it totally works. And this is the kind of person that you are.
He got to put the cape on her.
Yeah, so so
he didn't. It wasn't an Ishigami like Giga Chad level where he gets like this perfectly warm shawl of sorts that he puts around her and stuff. That's like, oh, this is amazing. But like, so thoughtful.
This was incredible on a whole other level.
Yeah. So there's multiple things also going on in this episode. Mm-hmm. The idea that we revealed that no, Ishigami didn't have some grand dramatic plan to confess or what have you. This was all Miyuki.
Yeah, because of course it was
all Miyuki. And we saw the evidence of this a long time ago and just chose to think that for some reason Ishigami would steal all the balloons.
Well, and also,
what?
Also, he's the exact type of person that would do something this convoluted and complicated, right?
Yes, absolutely. Like put all this hard work into it for the sake of his own almost pleasure. Then
to the point that specifically one blue heart comes up, and that was some Death Note level, like predicting the future stuff. I was worried for a second, and I'm glad they didn't necessarily say this, even though it might still be a thing, because I was like, okay, that you can't actually predict that. Is that the letter of recommendation would be in the balloon, and then he would pull it out and hand it to her? And I was like,
that would have been ridiculous.
That would have been ridiculous.
You know what the twist is? That the blue balloon was actually just stuck to the outside of the clock tower, and he pulled it out of thin air when she wasn't looking to be like, look, I somehow have a blue one here. And she's just like, oh my God.
It's all a magic act.
It's all a magic act. Yeah. Who knows where he got the blue balloon from?
Right. So, and then even the only person that didn't get their happy ending this episode, even though
kinda.
Oh no, I was going to say Chica. She definitely did. Chica, because she didn't get to see what happened. Although at the same time, I feel like that is kind of a happy ending because Chica, while she does love the tea and the sauce and the like, all the stuff, she also loves the feeling of suspense, right?
And she got a mystery that led to an actual discovery of Shuichi Academy that had nothing to do with Miyuki's plan. She actually stumbled upon a secret watchtower of sorts.
And now, as a result of that, there is at least one person who saw. There was one person who saw, and then potentially a different person that figured out, like, wait a minute, it would have had to be someone on the student council that could organize something like this, and it seems like it's for a confession, all that. But you can have something where then they're like secretly in a relationship, but then some other people know,
and then you can rumor.
You can start the rumor,
and from season 1 all the way back to the beginning of. People think we're dating or in a relationship. They actually think that.
Exactly. You can have all of these wonderful mind games that can still happen from here on out, right? Like this show pulled the absolute Chad move where it's like, yeah, we're gonna have all this happen. You think the show's over? Hell no. Hell no. No, we're not even gonna time skip to America like I thought they might do.
No, we're gonna have the prep for Stanford arc.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Because and Kaguya brought it up, right? Oh, I also will have to convince my father, right? But she's like, nope, we're doing this. I just have to get rid of anyone who gets in my way,
Yeah. So now the question is, will they set this up to have them still try and go to Stanford this upcoming year? Or will they basically have a thing of where it's like, oh, I will push back my, time to go to Stanford if I can to wait for you to solve the stuff with your family and everything.
I think this is what's going to...
Summer vacation then.
Well, yeah, exactly. They still have some time, right? This is a celebration that is
December. To put this in perspective.
Gotcha.
So they have literally until March, which is funny because Ishigami is like, I can wait until March.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, is the show ending in March?
Right. Yeah.
With them going to Stanford, that could be them saying that's the end of the story.
Exactly. Them going to Stanford could be the end of the story, and the ED from this season, I believe, is them in America, and it ends with Kaguya kissing him. He wakes up from a dream and they're like out somewhere. Mm-hmm. That could be from, when they're in Japan.
Well, they changed clothing styles for sure.
Right. So we can have a situation where then they're on the clock. They can't waste any time, right? Mm-hmm. So we can get that tense, because they're not the people they used to be.
No.
6 months is not going to pass with them saying nothing, right? That's not how this is going to go. So, all right, let's move. You've got two very motivated and intelligent individuals that are going to be scheming and doing all the planning and stuff that they can.
Right.
And it's going to be awesome.
But they're going to still have to beat Kaguya's father.
Right, exactly. He's the true final boss and all that stuff.
Right, which has been foreshadowed for a while now.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And that's why, in some ways, I'm most excited about the fact that Miyuki's dad has been involved in the story this long, because at some point he can tell off Kaguya's dad.
Yeah.
And then they'll end up becoming best friends or something like
and
that.
And Kaguya's dad will be like, who are you? like because Miyuki's dad isn't even like, he doesn't even have a job, you know? So like, super conglomerate, you know, like patriarch, all that stuff. And then, oh yeah, I'm just a dude, you know.
I have a watch. It's a pretty cool watch. I love this finale so much because while the characters have gone through all this stuff to get to this moment, I think the I don't know, the soup du jour, the part that was just
pièce de résistance.
Yeah, the pièce de résistance was Hayasaka kind of realizing how much Kaguya has grown, which is fun for us, but the idea that Kaguya herself kind of almost realizes without stating it as explicitly as possible how much she has grown.
Yeah.
To the point where, like you were saying in the reaction, old Kaguya would have been jealous of him going to Stanford.
Right.
Old Kaguya would have seen this as a competition and that he was trying to basically show how he was better than her.
Sure.
Kaguya now has so much love for him that she really thought, not just because she was scared of confessing and stuff, but really thought, oh, well then the right thing to do is to basically let him go, let him have this, and I will have to cry and this will suck, but no, I've given up on a lot of that pride that would have kept me from being not just honest with myself, because that was probably mostly like season 2, being honest with herself that she was in love with him.
Yeah.
But also my desire to have him, you know, is not superseded by him having what makes him happy. And thus, obviously, they have, you know, come to the realization that both of them like each other.
Yep.
Right. A lot.
And we finally got Kaguya doing a Okoai Koto, but it was with Hayasaka when they were talking about the kissing. That was I love so much that Kaguya was just in perma just like
cutesy mode.
Right, exactly, you know. And just derpy and all of that stuff. And meanwhile, Miyuki's like
I very much feel like this is commentary by the mangaka of being like, when a guy confesses, yes, after he confesses,
right, because
girl confesses, after she confesses, basically just like having this, just the time of her life is just, oh, this is wonderful. Like she's spinning off into these fantasy worlds of all these things, and the guy's just panicking of like, I don't know. I don't have 100% certainty of what.
I mean, certainty aside, it's the what now, because
also the what now,
like because I love how when the balloons went up, all the hearts and everything, right? Kaguya is already kind of going into the Baka Kaguya cutesy mode, you know, all that stuff. And then she just is like, all right, I'm going to kiss you, right? Like, okay, you know, all right, there we go.
Love it.
But then if you think about it, they both pulled like the ultimate power plays in the best way on each other. Because Miyuki is like, hey, I am a nobody. I come from a nobody family, you know, like all of this stuff. If I confess to you first, I actually think that will put us on a bad foot, right? So but I'm going to absolutely tell you how I feel, lay out the red carpet, all of that stuff, right? Then she just straight up kisses him. Right? Now Miyuki, he's the relationship advice expert. You know, he's very experienced. And things so like this, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. No. The girl he's been crushing on for, you know, however long, just kissed him.
Yeah.
What does he do with that? And she was terrible at it. But at the same time, he is head over heels in love with her. Like how does he respond to that? What does he do? You know, like, and
no idea.
And that's why ending with the end credits scene and them hand holding
Well,
it's just one of the reasons why it's so perfect.
Well, the thing is that if they didn't do that, this would have been one of the most painfully
like feeling like backtracking and
it would literally leave a sour taste, I think, in the mouth of fans.
Right.
Like this is the kind of thing where it was mandatory that they did that.
Because the problem with the backtracking and all of that stuff that'll happen in other shows.
And the fact that Hayasaka brought it up directly.
Yeah, like that's so good.
Yeah.
The thing is that especially with First Loves, that kind of insecurity and stuff makes sense.
Realistic.
It's totally realistic.
Yeah.
The problem is, how do you showcase that without making it be something that gets in the way of the progression of the story, right? So,
or not that, but get in the way of the progression of the characters.
Sure.
Because sometimes it's very easy to see how it gets in the way of the progression of the story.
Right.
I mean, but the characters, it doesn't make sense for them to do that. Like,
well, and even if it does, that's something that can just be annoying. It's not enjoyable, right? Nobody likes it if you have some wonderful confession like this, right? And then if it were to get backpedaled on. But no. They both freaked out in their own different ways. And they end hand holding, right?
Right.
They know what the situation is.
Yeah.
They figured something out, even if their hearts might still be all aflutter and whatnot.
We didn't get to see it.
We didn't get to see it. And that is such a cheeky move by the show.
In some ways, I still feel like I should win the bet because we didn't see them respond on screen then. We basically had them both in fantasy land of different varieties afterwards without it being basically the clear thing of them confessing. Like,
so
obviously we know what happened
from a certain point of view.
From a certain point of view,
yes, that whole point, totally get it. Totally get it.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy. I would happily just buy you Chipotle twice. You know.
I'm happy too, man.
Yeah. The reason why I think it does still work as a confession.
Sure.
Is because
as a received and
responded to confession.
Right.
Is because this show is not always sometimes uses the term confession in different ways to mean different things.
Yes, that's true.
There is the confession that they do from the standpoint of the competition that they have with each other,
right?
Wanting to get the other person to say, "I like you, please go out with me," all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Then there's the confession of Ishigami giving Tsubume a heart. And the narrator calling that a confession, right? That's what it was. It was understood to be that, right?
Yep.
The emotions that Ishigami didn't even realize he was communicating were communicated, right?
Yeah. In the way that they called this thing, the dual confessions thing, either called dual confessions part 1. There is the part of where it's the Ishigami has now confessed to 2 women unintentionally.
Yep. There are a lot of ways.
Ways that this works. Yeah.
Yep.
Then there's the angle of the way that Miyuki ended up kind of confessing in a 2-pronged way.
Sure.
Through basically not just the whole aspect of the
hearts and everything, but also
everything.
Please come to Stanford with me.
But please come to Stanford, exactly. And then there's the Kaguya aspect of, oh, wait, I am very much feeling the well, actually, Kaguya.
I mean, the other duel I would say in that case is that they both confess to each other.
Oh, right.
You know,
right. Yes, thank you. I was like trying to figure out a way, and then I was like, no, it's not really that way. Yeah.
Their competition can still be ongoing.
Yes.
Right. But given that I feel like it's been established that confessions don't have to be verbal specifically.
Yes.
You know,
of course, 100%.
And it was understood by both parties, and also
by the nature of them hand holding.
Right. And I would say we even did see the response in that. Because it's all nonverbal, you know, they're not necessarily doing it through verbal confessions. Kaguya kisses him after he gives her 10,000 hearts.
Again, I totally understand that, but he did not necessarily receive it as that.
Well, okay.
No, that's the thing. In the moment, he might not have necessarily received it as that. No, really. That's the thing that made it as a thing of if they didn't show the hand holding, it would have been really bad. It would have ended on a sour note. The hand holding is our confirmation.
Okay, sure. But within But I feel like that is only the case because of the stuff that they did afterwards to kind of like tease us a bit of like, are we going to backpedal on this?
Yes, exactly.
Right. So there's the confession happening, and then there's the lack of backpedaling, right? Because there was that was part of our bet, right? Is that they couldn't.
I'm not talking about this in terms of the bet.
Okay.
If you even just look at it independently, he does really cool thing for a girl, and says, "Come to Stanford with me. This is how I feel." She then responds with, "Oh, you get any wish here?" Yes. Hold on, Jacob. Wait. Let me see. Then she basically says, "Yes, absolutely." Kisses him. Then from there, there's nothing more in the night that we basically get to see experience. We then go back to her, and now she's like frantically like trying to figure out how she's gonna make him confess. And all we get from him is the kiss. Oh my god! And that could be him freaking out so much about the kiss that it happened that he literally can't even understand that she's confessed to him.
I think that is a...
No, I understand that is a contrived thing, but that is literally how these romantic comedies can work sometimes. That's why it's so important that we have the hand-holding.
I have never seen a kiss be backpedaled as a response to a confession.
Oh, absolutely have. It's yes, absolutely. When you have like people being like, "Oh, you're so sweet," and then they kiss, and the person, "Oh, the kiss." But no, they're like, "What was that? Just a friendship kiss? Was that just a?"
Okay, if I still haven't seen any of those in anime. If you're
not in anime, in storytelling. I'm not meaning specifically. There are other.
I don't think I've ever seen that in storytelling. It would take a special kind of psychopath to kiss someone when you're rejecting them for
not rejecting them, just not getting interpreted as a confession. That's
no, not as a confession where that's not a response to the confession, because the confession happened, right? That there's no questioning that, right?
I have no debate in my mind as to whether or not it was a confession. It's all about whether it's perceived as a confession. If we took out the end credits scene, we have no definitive proof that they saw it as a confession.
I beg to differ.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Where was the definitive proof that either of them saw it as a confession?
All right. Miyuki understands the heart thing. He's been trying to get
totally.
He's been trying to get her to do the heart thing. Mm-hmm. She knows about the heart thing.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
She knows that he knows about the heart thing.
Right. Yeah.
This is my gift to you. 10,000 hearts that go to her. This is how I feel.
None of them were given to her. She didn't give one to him.
He said, "This is my gift to you."
No, I know, Jacob.
No,
I know that's a confession.
No, yeah. And do you think there is any possibility that she would think that wasn't a confession? He would think that she thought that wasn't a confession. Any chance in hell?
Yes.
How?
Because they didn't. Because of the way they responded after the.
She then responds. Now, so there's the nonverbal confession. This is how I feel, right?
Right.
Then there's the mechanical specific brass tacks here.
Yeah.
Come to Stanford with me.
Right. Yes.
She says yes. Right.
Because she thought in her head, and there was a really cool thing. They go, "Want to be with you forever." Like she translated that out of that.
Right.
Which I totally
which showcases that she interprets this as part of the confession and all that stuff.
I'm totally with you.
And then
I'm totally with you.
And then
yeah.
She's like, "Okay, I caught you though, right? I caught the thief, so I get to, I get a prize, right?"
Yeah. No,
and then she kisses him on the lips and does a bad job of putting tongue in there.
And then when they show the scene afterwards, see, that's the thing, Jacob. That's the thing. When no.
Okay.
Stop.
All right, go for it.
When you have these confessions being given here, these confessions are each of them deciding to confess to the other person. Absolutely. Unequivocally.
Yep.
I see it as definitive proof that they each individually decided to confess the other person. How the other person sees that, in my opinion, the way in which they are confessing, each of them individually, is not definitive in my mind, based on the way that they have the following scene, which is they're now processing it.
So
Miyuki's is panic, which is, I love that. It's so simple.
Oh, yeah.
And yet, in some ways, his is kind of the one that I actually think is the most potential of him seeing it as a confession, because there's nothing contrary about it. It's just panic.
Right,
so in some ways,
exactly.
I'm like, okay, he's in his own thing there. But Kaguya then basically is in this La La Land about the kiss, not about the confession. She never mentions in that whole scene that he confessed to her.
And in fact, she mentions specifically that he did confess.
Not confess. Right.
But that's
not saying that she's thinking she didn't confess to him. It's saying that from the show's perspective, they both do not necessarily interpret the other person's confession as a confession.
No, but that's because of the whole thing of the game of them trying to get the other person to say it, because of the actual...
No.
Like,
I'm with you, but I don't see that as definitive proof. I see that as that's an interpretation that makes sense. I'm with you. But it's in the if we were to go with the like...
No, so the problem with this is that then you just get into like, they must communicate in lawyer talk, right?
No. I'm with you. Again, you're missing on the definitive proof part, the part where the way this show has gone thus far, there's been so many ways in which they have already confessed, from the like really obtuse, super non-specific,
given the fact that they know the other person is playing the mind games with them, that is confirmation that the person likes them.
They know, exactly. They know that the other person probably likes them.
Right.
But
otherwise they wouldn't compete.
Right. But the reason why they're so nervous about this is because they need that. They need that certainty. They need to basically have the demonstration through either words or action, either one, of something that they would constitute as a confession. And both of them, in the afterlude of, in the after of that scene, were not definitively certain of a confession through their response. That's why we had the hand holding at the end.
So I am sure that Kaguya, after the events of this episode, is an entire storm of emotions.
Yes,
that is way all over the place.
Totally.
Way all over the place.
Totally. She just needed a good night's sleep, and then she would immediately know.
Sure.
Right.
Well, I would say not even that.
Okay, yeah.
Because
she needed just to talk with Hayasaka.
Miyuki, no. Miyuki confessed. She's like, I'm kissing this boy.
Yeah.
There you go. Right? Like that.
Sure. I'm with you.
And with regards to the whole thing of Miyuki freaking out because of the kiss.
Right. Yeah.
Right. There is no way that him freaking out is because he doubts whether or not it was a confession from Kaguya. They're both smart. They know the situation, all that stuff. The reason why the freak out would have left a sour taste at the end is not because it would have made it so that it wasn't a confession or something, but it's something where then...
I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying.
You said that a couple times now.
No, it's not what I'm saying.
Okay, what are you saying?
I'm saying that it wouldn't have given us closure on the idea of them having a definitive understanding of what it was. No. Obviously, from the... No.
Okay.
From like the... I'm not saying that they would actually backpedal from that there's any reason why the story would do that. I'm saying...
So, I won the bet. Because
No.
So, the reason why the freak out at the end would potentially be problematic is not because it backpedals on the actual confession. The problem is because then it would be in another story. It would be a forced way of putting the characters into a situation where since this is a romance story, the plot of the story is the romance. It's the interactions between these two characters. It would be a very, very clunky, ham-fisted way of forcing the characters into a stasis where nothing happens because they're freaking out about the fact that they confessed and all that stuff. So then we're not going to have them like talk about it and have those conversations and all that stuff because that doesn't make for like as entertaining fiction, I guess.
Yeah.
And this show, because it's such a Chad, basically was like, okay, fuck that, right? Yeah. We're going to have him have a freak out. We're not going to show the in-depth talk about things afterwards because we don't need to see that. But we are going to showcase in a nonverbal way that the understanding was had. They reached an acquiescence, an agreement, a new status quo. They are hand holding under the table. They are effectively in a secret relationship.
They are in a secret relationship right now. The result of which is based on them having had enough time after their freakouts, respectively, to then look at the facts of what happened.
And probably have some communication over it.
And had some communication that we did not see.
Right.
And that is basically my equivalent of the confession response that they both needed to have after that.
I completely agree that this was something that was necessary.
Right. Because otherwise there wouldn't have been definitive understanding in their mind that the confession had been had. They needed to come together and have basically a moment of like, take my hand. Okay. And then they just walk into the student council room, probably before everyone else did, held hands. Maybe they kissed again. Who knows? Right. It was off screen. There's a lot of risque, like, elements of spice to it. And then obviously, Ishigami and Chika are none the wiser, have no idea that this is all a thing that has happened. It's for them. That's why we don't need to see it either. It's for them.
Right.
But
that's okay. And this is maybe splitting hairs. I want to talk about all the stuff with like Ishigami and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's not talking about whether or not there was a confession. It's confirming to the audience there will be no backpedaling.
Right.
And that was also a part of our bet. But that there wouldn't be backpedaling, right? So that's the clear definitive proof that there is no backpedaling. Confessions happened. There was no backpedaling. I think I won this bet, dude.
I think we could go back and
I think it's pretty safe.
No. Hold on. I have no issue with losing the bet. I am competitive, obviously, in that.
Me too.
I think that one of the things that didn't happen here was in terms of the actual idea of them both. Because that's why I think this is so important that it wasn't a response. This wasn't a Miyuki confessed first, Kaguya responded situation. This was they each confessed in their own way, and the result of that was the hand-holding. The confessions was a dual confession that they each confessed to each other. But it wasn't Miyuki's the one that initiated it, therefore Kaguya could confess here. It was very much gotcha, he made a grand gesture here. I'm absolutely, probably, sure that this is a confession. But I'm...
Yeah, okay. I'll take that, regardless of whether or not we agree on the fact that it ended up being something where it's a confession and I win the bet, whether it's the hand holding or or whatnot.
Yeah, or what happened off screen.
Yeah, exactly. I'll take that. I'll take that.
Yeah.
But
I'll definitely concede that kind of thing as well. That I'm definitely lawyer speaking for the sake of the.
I mean, hey, if we want a lawyer speak and anyone wants to look back, I might have specified that it was going to be a verbal confession.
I don't remember
if that's
you did
the case,
or not.
then maybe I just lose,
That might have been the case.
That might have been the case.
I don't remember. All I would say is that if that was the thing there, then that kind of feels like a dumb bet because I feel like in some ways we would almost know by the way that this show does. Maybe that's why I even made the bet was I was like, he's specifying verbal, or I'm specifying verbal, and he's still taking it.
Most romantic shows will try and do a non-traditional confession to show the individuality of the characters.
But they've always followed it up with verbal stuff to make it simple and definitive.
To make it definitive, while at the same time having it be something where it's not just the... Because the problem is that the confession, if it's the I like you, then that kind of becomes a cliche, and then that can make it have less narrative weight than you would intend it to have, even if you're doing all the proper build-up for it.
Yeah, so some of my favorite confessions in romances are not saying I like you. It's in these little gestures and these little actions and
equivalent
stuff like
exchange, or
Yukino
and Hachiman.
Or like Pride and Prejudice, for instance.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
It's not about that. It's in the actions where,
1,000 times yes. We don't actually see him pop the question.
Right. Yeah. So having this be something where we know they're in a relationship now. That's really all we cared about.
Yep.
This is just an arbitrary bet that we came up with to basically set ourselves up for that extra bit of dramatic spice.
Exactly.
When this
Both
show,
of us each having our own. Whoever confesses first loses, except it's a bet, and we're gonna be like, haha, yeah.
But then it's well, we both win here. The show is not
We're
backpedaling.
eating very good right now.
Yeah.
Also,
and they're definitely gonna do another season.
They definitely are. And something that I want to bring up that I just thought of now with regards to the Ishigami situation.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I've often said in stories where basically you have a side character that is really interesting. And I end up getting really invested in the side characters, and I've seen a lot of other people do this too. And I would say the reason why is because since the side characters are not the ones driving the main plot, you have a bit more freedom for when you get climaxes with that side character's story arc. Because you don't have to have the story end when their story ends. And this is where this show, again, shows how fucking awesome it is. The side character, Ishigami, is actually the one that's going to have the more traditional romantic comedy plot from here on out, because now he's in a love triangle. He confessed to 2 different girls, right?
And Miyuki, he didn't even know about either of them when they happened.
Right, although he might understand the Ino one now, which
I don't
maybe
think
not.
So. No, Nope.
Like he put 2 and 2 together with the Subume thing, but he probably was
No. He didn't with either of them.
No, because he was like, wait, when I gave her the heart and then she was getting all flustered, is it because
No. When I can go back to it, but when he did that, he then was like, as if there's actually a thing like that at the very end.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He didn't.
Oh my God, I was so giddy, I must have missed it.
Yeah. I was so giddy out of it as well that I almost missed it as well. But if we go back to the part when he's watching the play and everything here, he says, if you think about Turns Legend, I actually sent her my love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Meaning that and then he goes through this whole bit here, and then he's like, I'm so embarrassed, it's like
I threw myself at her,
I'm so mortified, and he's got that whole thing there, and then he's like, well, not like there's actually any stupid story that says that giving a heart is a confession.
God. Wow.
And it's him basically freaking out about this whole thing, so he basically,
who cares?
Yep.
Oh my God. My God.
He kills it right there.
Right.
And he's like, oh, hey, she's on stage.
Distraction.
Yeah.
Right, because he doesn't want to think about that because he's like, oh God, that would be so terrifying and like...
And then it says, Ishigami is slightly off base today.
Okay. So yeah, he's now confessed to 2 different people.
Right.
And now, love triangle stuff. Now, I think that the... conventions... Ino's the main girl.
Let's be real.
Long before Subume.
Ino is introduced first.
Well, let's also be real.
She has an actual, more... She has a more synergistic personality to Ishigami.
We also have a short haircut girl with hair that is like,
off
peach,
red.
Blonde, off red. Those girls never actually end up being the
Ino has brown hair and it's short.
It's a lot longer than
that is. It is kind of tied in that unique way.
It's she's got like the
bobtails.
Right, exactly. But
But now, to be fair, she thought it was a confession.
No,
and then he goes, lost items, and she's like, oh, I mean, yeah.
Why, So she's...
And then he does the sweet thing by showing her that he was thinking about her.
So the trouble is she just probably fell for him in that moment.
Right.
And realized it. Like she, it was always sort of the latent suppressed feeling.
She always liked him.
She always liked him. She just didn't realize it. But this is where it's like,
real.
Oh shit, right? So now
I've been shipping them for a while, but it's just a thing of where obviously these 2 bakas need to kind of figure out their own shit, be a little bit more confident who they are, also realize how much that they're each kind of looking out for each other in these little ways and stuff. But
now that we have that set up for a potential future conflict for the story, alongside Miyuki and Kaguya needing to convince her dad and do all of that stuff, and hell, he'll probably have to help her study because even as brilliant as she is, it's like, oh, it's Stanford and she has to get in a year early, so it's like, that's a big deal, right? We can have this going along at the same time. So we get our cake and we eat it. We get the awesome side character plot developments, but then we also get the main character plot developments earlier than normal, and we get to see stuff where they're actually in a relationship in the story, as opposed to it just ending with them getting into a relationship. I love this so much. It is such a missed opportunity that romantic shows do not go into, or stories in general, don't often go into the post-confession, parts where they're actually in a relationship. That is some good shit that you can get into, and we need more of it. So the fact that this show is doing that, while at the same time introducing new conflicts that are the same kind of conflicts that you signed up for with the, at the beginning of the show. Because if it was different conflicts, you could lose your audience, right? You don't want to change the kind of story that you're telling, right? So
you can make little iterations, but you definitely want the core conflict to remain the same type of conflict.
So Kaguya and Miyuki will still have their games with each other where they try and make each other confess, even though they're in a relationship, right? And we're still going to have will they, won't they situations where we don't actually know what the romantic, chaos will lead to, right?
Because they have to be sneaky about it.
And we also have investigations for Chika to go on because their relationship is secret right now. And you can bet that when she finds out, she is going to freak the hell out.
Right. Everyone has a direction now that they didn't have at all before this season. And
in the midst of all of that,
so we made real legitimate progress.
Real legitimate progress on all fronts. And in the midst of that, we have, like we talked about earlier, that beautiful, beautiful moment between Hayasaka and Kaguya. And that's the thing where sweet. It's so sweet, and it's just the icing on top. Like the
and it's not perfect.
And of course it makes sense for it to be here because we've been focusing on Hayasaka a lot this season.
I mean, the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, 2 seasons. But so I just my heart is so full.
My heart is so full. Yeah, we all won. I will say though, there is an interesting point where maybe I'm trying to sneak in the last word here. The narrator literally says Kaguya loses at the last second here
because she ruined the kiss. It's the perfect romantic moment, right? 10,000 heart-shaped balloons. You go up and you kiss him, right? And all that stuff. It's awesome.
And
you're gonna be going to Stanford
like
to him, and then you just.
So Miyuki, when he kissed her, he just sucked tongue basically, like that. He never reached the lips.
Well, we don't know if it actually went into his mouth, or
that's
if it
my point. That's my point. Is that he basically sucked tongue the whole. I mean,
I feel like. Yeah. I mean, hence him being kind of shell shocked afterwards, where he's like, "Oh, that was awesome, but what the fuck was that?
What the fuck was that kiss?" Yeah, he's like. Well, because he's never kissed anybody.
No, exactly. He's like, maybe that's just how it always is.
Right. He has no idea.
And Kaguya being so over the moon, just thinking like, oh yeah, no, I kissed him and it was great. Oh, Hayasaka, you're so...
and then she's like, wait, taste? And he's
but Hayasaka's thinking like, wait, did they just straight up make out?
Right.
What's going on?
And it's no, all my taste sensors were out in full display, and he put his mouth around the taste sensors,
or at least she pressed it against it.
No. She tasted ketchup, my dude. So she
Could've
knows.
Been on his lips.
You mean to tell me that he left ketchup on his mouth? You think
true.
This guy was nervously sitting on the clock tower and not going...
Okay, no, that's fair. I mean, residual maybe, but yeah, no, that's a good point. It's probably something where that's one of the other reasons why he's so shell shocked is that there was actual tongue insertion where he's I mean, but
yeah. right, exactly.
Yeah.
So he sucked her tongue, basically. That's canonically what happened, basically. And that would be, I'm not gonna lie, that would be the most awkward kiss.
Oh, absolutely.
I knew enough when I had my first kiss to avoid the nose clinking. That was the kind of thing I thought she was going to bring up about the idea that when you have people of different body sizes or just, faces and stuff like that, one of the most annoying things is if you think you should try and kiss the other person straight on. No, you each cock a little bit to the side.
They'll be the one to turn to the side first, nope, and then you don't.
And then you don't. So I'll I'm trying to remember if one of us cocked intentionally to let the other person know which side to go, because then you can do the So I think she did. Yeah, I think she did. I think she cocked to the left, or to her right, my left, And yeah. And
point is, if you're ever inexperienced in this kind of area, it is far less awkward to just tell the other person, hey, I don't really know what I'm doing, so, give me some tips and show me the way, than to actually say nothing and do something like what Kaguya did. Now, granted, Miyuki wouldn't have known shit either.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Part of it is don't try to put something out there into, no pun intended. Just do what feels right in the moment.
And what felt right in the moment for Kaguya.
I mean, okay.
But that's
no. She didn't do that because of what felt right. She said that's what she thought adults did and all that.
Right.
Because of her memory of the sounds of Tsubasa and Kashiwagi. Yeah.
And we even had Kashiwagi going up to the other Maki, and being like, hey, no, I want to dance with you. Like, that was sweet. And even Kobachi was like, I need to wean myself off of Ino. I feel like my being overprotective has caused her some trouble. And it's like, wow, that's great.
They really tried to give everybody a little moment here. Even the girl that was with Chika had like her literal
lasers shot through her eye.
God spoke. And she quotes the Bible.
Yeah, starts quoting the Bible.
And she's like, the light doth shine through, yonder peak, and I have seen that which is good.
Yep.
Amen. and then death.
Well, and what's funny?
What?
Is that she had that experience from seeing...
No, see, that's the thing. She didn't necessarily see that.
Yeah,
All
she might have just seen...
Yeah. Like, from probably about far away.
With balloons covering a fair amount of it, but she sees...
the two of them close and
kissing, kissing exactly.
So all she knows is that all she knows is at the very least, because this is the other thing.
The improper education of Kaguya might have spread, is all I'm saying.
No. All she knows, this is something that I think is very important to make as a distinction here. Look at the angle, right? Remember the angle? It was slightly below still. It was higher, but not as high as the clock tower.
Right. Yeah.
Kaguya is short. So, Kaguya wasn't even necessarily visible from her angle. But the president...
She's not that short.
The president was wearing a hat. So all she might know is that two people were macking out up there, and one of them was the thief. The arson.
And had draped the cloak maybe even over the person that he was kissing.
Right. Or her head would have been.
Depending on how much
and based on the way that the ramparts, were just aligned and stuff like that, all she might have seen is just two people kissing up by the clock tower, and knowing that their mystery, that was where it was. They were in the wrong place.
The point is,
she saw it.
She saw it, and the details of exactly what she saw maybe, that could be something that could be gotten into in a future season.
Yeah.
But There are so many things that I just want to say about this episode that I absolutely love. And I like how amidst all of the overwhelmingly romantic gestures that are happening, they do still buck convention by making it be something where, yes, Kaguya fucks up the kiss because they're idiots and they haven't done this before, right? You don't need to have a romantic climax that is the perfect romantic moment. You can have things that... Wait.
What the fuck? I'm looking back at the scene to see. So the cloak did come off of Kaguya.
Right.
The hat was off of Miyuki. So I was wrong about all accounts there.
Okay.
And she might have seen exactly.
Shoot through her eyes.
Shoot through her eye. Someone yells Kanan. So maybe she had seen the promised land. Is that, I guess, what she's basically seeing here? And then they go, Karen!
Yeah.
And then the explosion of hearts. And then she starts...
the tender mercy of our God.
I have seen... Oh yeah, she's bleeding from her nose or her mouth or something. Yeah, from her mouth.
Yeah.
It's the, yes, she is dead.
Yep. But, I love it. And you know that Miyuki and Kaguya are going to think back on this whole confession and first kiss and all of that stuff and be like, you just stuck your tongue out at me. No, stop it. You totally did. Okay, whatever,
Oh, there's this little part with Miyuki here that's before he panics. He says there's so much to think about. Because I think we were panicking at this part.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he says, I think I was able to let her know how I feel. But it's not as if I put it into words and asked her to go out with me.
Right.
And then What's our relationship going to be like starting tomorrow? He doesn't know.
Yeah.
He doesn't know. It's also the matter of Stanford. This is where he starts to panic. I've got so much to think about. So there's the angle of where you might even say he's accepted it as that she confessed, but she wasn't saying. Oh, she was saying out loud the stuff with her father and stuff.
Yeah.
So that might have been the reason why he was confused about it.
Or
it might have been that he doesn't see it as a confession. Either way,
regardless of whether there's a reason for it or not.
Yeah.
When you're that giddy with emotions, you will still doubt everything.
Everything.
You will be.
Yeah.
You will be constantly just being like, okay, wait, yes, this is pinch myself. Okay.
Right.
This is real. This is happening.
This is happening.
But like, whoa, wait,
stay fucking calm.
Yeah, it's happening. Good reference.
Yeah, so Fujiwara did arrive after Ishigami. Ishigami was already in there. You know what's actually a really cool detail? I just realized.
What?
This is such a small thing. But Kaguya has been helping Ishigami at times and redeeming that aspect of the way that Ishigami was scared of her. The heart that she dropped ended up being the one that he gave to Ino. Kaguya helped him again.
Nice.
Like, that's such a small, random little thing. Where does he pick up the heart? Does he pick it up in the previous episode?
I think
first part.
Yeah,
I think he
picked it up a while earlier.
He picked it up a while ago.
But yeah, then we just see him hand it to Ino.
Yeah. I just thought that was a really small, cool detail. Obviously, there's all the other details of the plans and everything going through, but
right, and Ishigami showing how much he cares about Ino, even though he wasn't intending it as a confession. Then he's like, hey, I recorded the dance at the fire and everything.
Yeah. And also another cool thing, the fact that his family helped in some ways with the plan, like maybe like go over some of the parts with him.
And is like seeing that, like, this is because I think this is the point where they're looking at the email and it's basically saying that yes, you got admitted.
Okay. So he didn't necessarily recruit them to help with the plan.
Right. Yeah, so he
this was them opening it and he was nervous. He didn't want to be the one to open it. Right. Okay.
Yep.
Right. And they click on it. And then it cuts away. Okay, cool.
And of course, that's at that instant, he's like, okay, time to put my ridiculous, start, concocting this ridiculous plan and put it into motion. And I love the bits of like, yes, the food stalls, and the all of that stuff to show that he was specifically doing crowd control on
Machiavellian style, getting all of this prepped.
Yep. Changing the time of the play. That was one where I was like, oh, that's cool.
Okay. But yeah,
such good stuff.
That's season 3 of Kaguya.
Oh man.
What an absolutely just perfect romantic comedy. Like
when people were telling us, like, after season 2, they were like, just wait.
Season 3 will be even better.
Yeah, it's like, no, there is no goddamn
Kaguya
way.
Peaked with season 2.
You can't.
We had fucking Ishigami development back then.
The fact that season 2 even exists and is that good, that's how, so you're telling me, you're telling me that this is a weapon to even surpass Metal Gear, like, wait, what? And here we go.
10 out of 10.
Wow.
Flawless, spectacular, amazing, wonderful, beautiful. But all right, I mean, y'all, this was a finale, and now we have to wait for season 4, hopefully.
Oh yeah,
hopefully. But
I mean, it's happening.
It's gotta be.
No, there's not gonna be a season 4 at this point. It's just like go read the manga.
But y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's double episode kind of reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction for the next show that's coming after this, Reincarnated as a Slime Season 2, one that we've heard had a massive pickup from the disappointing end of Season 1, let's foray back into an isekai that is actually trying a little bit to make a really convincing, fun world and stuff. And we'll be starting that first episode next week. And if you want to see full-length timer version of this very unique reaction here, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon, and any level support there gets you access to our Discord, where you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We do streams every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.